You know what? I've been thinking. We have all worked on Scrum projects, but every time we start a new project, the very first thing that comes to our mind is how do we start it? And most of us usually end up doing a sprint zero. So, sprint zero is a fantastic thing. I mean, you get 2 to 4 weeks of sprint zero, whatever you are doing, less than 30 days of Scrum, in which you decide on your product backlog, have discovery phases, speak with stakeholders, come up with a product backlog, then do all the infrastructure setup that you want to do, and then start off with the project. It's brilliant. The only problem, it's an anti-pattern. It's an anti-pattern to Scrum. So what exactly Scrum says is that you need to have the first sprint, at the end of which you need to have a working increment. Now you might say that even if you do a sprint zero, ultimately you will catch up to it in the future and you will deliver some value that was missed out in the earlier sprint. Agreed, that's a point. But that's not what Scrum is all about. Scrum is about having quicker return on investment. And that's where sprint zero becomes an anti-pattern. But if you don't do a sprint zero and if you want to start with sprint one, that would mean that your first sprint planning meeting, which is 8 hours long, well, hopefully 8 hours long as a time box, has to be the ultimate planning meeting which decides what you're going to do in the first sprint and possibly what you're going to do in the future, isn't it? What if I told you that there is a way of having a sprint planning meeting, the very first sprint planning meeting, which can actually achieve this? And that brings you much closer to the Scrum framework. So if you go and search on YouTube, you will find something known as the white elephant estimation. And what I did was I added more value to it by making it the grand white elephant that can help you with the entire sprint planning meeting. And I know this is just one of the ways of doing it. And if you don't want to know more about it, then I'm going to speak about it in a workshop at the APGI 2018 conference in Pune. That's going to happen on 18th and 19th of May. So if you want to have all of these answers about how to have Scrum without sprint zero, how to plan your first sprint in the very first sprint planning meeting, or even if questions like, hey, if your sprint is just 2 weeks long, how long should the sprint planning meeting be? If the time box for a month sprint is 8 hours, should a 2 week sprint be 4 hours? Don't worry about it. Join me at the conference and we'll speak about it. See you there.